So this is the beginning of my Tuesday talk. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes look at where I live. So I'm going to put myself in front of the camera now. Hello, and welcome to our Tuesday talk. And today I wanted to give you a little behind the scenes glimpse of my world. I get asked a lot about how I do all the things that I do and do them well, and about how I live. And those of you who have done yoga with me have seen the yoga deck. You know, I live in a really beautiful place. I post pictures a lot of where I live. And I thought it might be fun to give you a little bit more of an inside look into what we're cultivating here. I cannot take credit for everything I'm about to show you, though. I owe a lot to my partner, David, who shares the vision of having a homestead where we grow a lot of food and medicine and create a lot of beauty. And so I'm really blessed and grateful to have him as my partner to cultivate this life that I'm about to show you. So let's go back to these lilies here. So this is right off my porch, and we'll come back here in just a little bit. So these are Turkish cap Chinese lilies, and they're medicinal. They're used in Chinese medicine, and they're super beautiful. Let's see if I can get in a little closer. This is right off of our porch. um, so those are really, really beautiful. And then down here, oh, I can get up a little closer here. This is an angelica, and these will flower soon. But just look at these beautiful pods. These are also medicinal, and the root can be used. But David was telling me that a lot of our grandmothers probably grew up eating angelica candied, like the stalks were candied. So here's our porch. This is what I meditate on those, on that love seat there every morning. And here we have chrysanthemum flowers. These are the chrysanthemum, and those we make chrysanthemum tea with. And then we have plantings of butternut squash along the front here. And then we have apple trees and vineyard. And then this, let me see if I can this isn't usually how I walk around our property, but let me just walk down here. So this is a pollinator native perennials garden. So we have marshmallow here. So this is marshmallow root, is used in a lot of teas and things, but these are the beautiful flowers. And this is where marshmallows originally came from. You could make from marshmallow, but it's a demulcent and used to help bring moisture into the body. So we also have echinacea, and I forget what these purple ones are, but we have lots of beautiful, and here's a white echinacea, which is really, really cool. So then we have these apple trees, and we're gonna have a good apple crop, I think, this year. Here's our little grape walkway here. So coming down through here. So David lived and worked on a vineyard in Italy for a couple years, and so he's kind of recreating his little vineyard here. Not that there's a lot of wine consumed in our household, but so here's our house from down below. And the yoga deck is over towards the right. We can't see it from here, but this is where I live. And so we'll walk along the grapes here. So these are the first year for these vines, but you can see we've got grapes coming in. And so this is really David's project here. I'm gonna come up. We do have this fence around our whole property, and David's put up lots of bird houses, so we do welcome lots of birds. So we have a lot of deer here, and so David has built this big fence around our homestead so that we can protect all of our things that are growing. The deer will destroy it all. So underneath all of these apple trees are different things that are growing. And so this is rhubarb. And at this point in the season, we're not harvesting it anymore. But during the springtime, rhubarb is great. It's very astringent, good for liver cleansing. So that's what's under this apple tree. And here's the continuation of that native species. We have our little, here's our, that's our dog, our dog's toy, the pig there. We have a little picnic table here. And then we have another apple tree. And look how loaded this apple tree is. We're gonna have a lot of apples this fall. So here we have, there's my car. This is coming up through the grapes. So these are more established grapes. These have been around for a while. And you can see there's the grapes. These look a little happier, these grapes. They're more established. So then we come up to our path here. So that path goes out to the gate and where I park my car. These are hazelnut bushes planted along here. So David's been cultivating those quite a bit. This is our duck house. And over here underneath this tree, this apple tree, is our stand of nettles. So these are stinging nettles, and we are cultivating them. Yes, we are. Most people would be like, get those out of there. So stinging nettles are so medicinal. So these are flowering already, and we're just letting them kind of go and repopulate this area. They do sting if you touch them, but they're really medicinal for, you can steam them, put them in stir fries, things like that. You can make pesto with them, but I use them mostly medicinally for allergies, and nettles have been my longtime herbal ally. So I'm so grateful to them, and look how they're growing up through the tree now. It's pretty incredible. So I'm just turning around here, and here's our blueberry bushes. Our berries have been pretty slow to get going this year. It's been very cool here, so you can see some blueberries. And then we have our blackberry stands. These are huge. These are rows of thornless blackberries, and I picked almost a half a gallon of them yesterday evening off of these. We're getting about that much every other day. So we're freezing most of them for later. So you can see, look at the berries here. There are a lot that are coming in, and you can see they're quite big. If I stick my hand in here, like, that's a pretty big berry. I'm gonna eat this one. Yum. So this is pretty long tunnel. I don't know if we can really see this, but it goes all the way down here, more blueberries. And then we have a row of currants. Actually, I'm gonna go on the other side so I can show you. So we have currant bushes going down here, and that's our compost pile. And then here we have our wineberry stand. So wineberries are like little precious ruby jewels. Let's see if I can zoom in here. So these are really tasty. They're like even more delicate than a raspberry. Super yummy. So we have a big stand there, and then David's working on building a greenhouse here. So we got the scaffolding put up. So now I'm gonna take you to our vegetable garden. So this is where we've both been spending a lot of time this summer. So I'm gonna hop over the fence. So we have this big fence around the whole perimeter of our homestead, but then we also have this little rabbit fence that's around our garden. So let me show you what we're growing here. I'll try to go in order here. So this row over here was all peas, and I pulled out, there's some at the very end there still, but I pulled all of the other ones out yesterday so that we're gonna plant flowers in this area. But you can see these are still, I still have peas here. They're covered in mist dew this morning. So beautiful. And behind, outside the fence, you can see, well, the rabbit fence, not the big fence, is elderberry. So if you were in the Vitality Circle last year, you got homemade elderberry syrup as your solstice gift. And this is where the elder forest is. So back to the peas here. And then we have a big row of strawberries. And these are done for the season, but we're still, keeping them alive and appreciating them because we want them to be producing next year. And then we have this amazing row of Swiss chard. So we've been eating a lot of Swiss chard. So much Swiss chard. And it's so beautiful and luscious and super, super, super yummy. And then we have beets. And these beets, let me see if I can get down here, are so interesting. They push up out of the ground. And they're kind of long and skinny. And they're super tasty. I've been cooking a lot of steamed beets and making them into salads, and then beet greens. This year I've just realized how much I love beet greens. They're so good. And then over here is our cauliflower, which we just harvested a huge, you can imagine the size of the cauliflower that was in there. This is the first year we've grown cauliflower. And then we have our kale forest. So we have like kind of kale as far as the eye can see. A lot and lot of kale. So we've been eating a lot of kale, processing kale to use for the winter, to have for the winter. We've been giving a lot of kale away. Yeah, giving a lot of kale away. It feels so abundant to me to have so much kale. We've got a few little pepper plants here, and we have okra starting to come up. So we have that started. I'll be watering that later today. We have zucchini plants and calendula. And calendula is such a nice medicinal for skin, especially. And here's our tomato stand. So we are mostly growing sun golds, which are cherry tomatoes, which are really our favorite. Both David and I really like them. Neither of us are really big tomato eaters. And then along here we have sweet potatoes, and so they're going to be trellising up this trellis here. And then we have winter squash and gourds growing up. David likes to make the bird houses from the gourds, so those are going up the trellises here. Let's see, let's check on the, and then we have more sweet potatoes in the ground. So here's our tomatoes. Oh yeah, here's some green tomatoes. There's ones that are starting to turn. Yay! And beans. There's our beans. So you can see we have a pretty robust garden going on here. And I am in charge of weeding. So it's kind of fun. And this is my weeding bucket here. So I pick all the weeds and then put them in the bucket. So here's looking out back at the house from the garden. You can't see the house very well. But I'm gonna walk us back towards the house. So this idea of living the life that you want to live, like we know that humans are happier when they're in connection with nature. It's always been important to me to live in a place where I'm connected to land. Let's see here, you can see all the birdhouse gourds that David has put. So he made these into birdhouses. So there's birds living in all these little gourds along the fence line there. So in practicing Ayurveda and living a life aligned with that, it feels so good to be living in a place where we've cultivated so much of that connection with nature. So here's some comfrey. Comfrey is also really great for muscles and joints. This is, so we're going through this little kind of gateway. This is mugwort. We have lots of that growing. And this is burdock. And burdock is just full of minerals and really good. David's been making a formula with burdock that I like to use. We have mountain mint here too. Here's a little sculpture. David made a fountain over there. We have rosemary, which we'll probably take in the winter. So here's our house from from the side. And we have solar panels on the roof that are covered right now that heat our radiant floor, which is also really lovely. And we have this little fountain slash pond. We have fish in there. Here's our lemon balm. And then we have strawberries all the way around the little pond. And oh, I did want to show you this huge, I just love this. This is a huge dandelion. I think I might use some of that in a salad tomorrow with beets. It's really nice to see how we can combine the flavors, like the flavors for summertime, the tastes that are best for us are sweet, bitter, and astringent. And so like dandelion's bitter and astringent. Putting that in like a beet salad is so nice. So here's chocolate mint that we have. And this amazing plant, there's our wood pile for the winter in the back. We have to stack it into the woodshed, which is next to there still. So we're working on that. There's some pottery that I've made as the little centerpiece in the pond. There's not enough sun out. We have a solar powered fountain there. So this is elecampane, and it is growing so high, so wild. There's more of those Turkish cap lilies. And then we have nasturtiums, which are so beautiful. And then this is a special little thing to me. This is a fig tree, and it is doing so well. I have always dreamed of having figs and love them so much, fresh figs. And so I've told that dream to David, and he got a couple fig trees. There's another one by the other door. So anyway, so we're going to go up on the porch. So here we are back where we started at those other Turkish cups. And so we're going to come up on the porch. And so this is the view that I often post pictures of. We are east facing, which I love so much because it means we can see the sunrise. The sunrise is at different points across the horizon, depending on the time of the year. So here we are looking down at that native garden and the vineyard. And so we'll continue over here and walk around the corner, and voila, here is the yoga deck and the hot tub. So I turn the hot tub off when I teach yoga. So if you're looking back this way, there's the scene that you see when I'm teaching yoga. We have a pear tree here and our lantern. It's lovely when we're out here at night. There's a gate over there that goes back to a little one-room cabin that we have that the kids use for sleepovers. Here's our hot tub, and then this is David's shop, and so he has a woodworking shop and builds a lot of stuff for our house. And then through that white door is where my kiln is. And then the rest of that to the left is a woodshed. And so we also have a cold plunge. And so we can go back and forth between the cold and the hot. So we don't keep this like super cold. It's just like ambient temperature cold. We're not like putting ice in it or anything. We also have an outdoor shower back up here. So it's a little junky. Again, it's behind the scenes. So I'm going to take us inside here and show you. This is coming into medicine making area. So this is where David makes makes medicine, all sorts of herbs, and oh, we're still on March on that calendar. Filming this in July. And then I'm gonna swing around here and take you back. So you can see it's like not everything organized. Like this is totally behind the scenes. The packing area, I've got lots of boxes and packing supplies. And then this is my pottery studio. So this is a project that David and I have been working on together. This is a mandala that that we've been doing together. I threw all of these and he carved them. I've been working on a bunch of, so I threw a bunch of bowls for a gathering that I'm hosting tomorrow. So those are the plain looking, more brown looking bowls. And then up top here, these are Vitality Circle bowls that I'm making for the women that are getting ready to graduate. Well, when they graduate, they'll get a Vitality Circle bowl. And David had his friends, when they were visiting, decorate cups that I made for them. These are cups or mugs that I have. So these are not fired yet. These are all greenware. So they've just been carved. And here's a bowl with poppies and bees on it. And I've made these little lotus dishes. These will be gifts at the next retreat that I lead. And so I'm constantly working on things here. Here's my potter's wheel, and you can see that it looks out over the gorgeous view out front. And then here's my work area, glazes, and here are some what will be mugs that I threw yesterday. I need to put handles on them, so they're drying right now. So you can see that there's a lot in progress. And then I also play music and have put out a couple CDs in the past. So there's a lot happening in this world. We're also like cook all our meals at home, and you know, I like looking at this mandala and thinking about all the individual pieces. I think it's a great metaphor for all the little pieces that come together to make a beautiful greater whole, which is our lives. So as I'm finishing up here and looking at this as a representation of our lives, or the potential for our lives, I think that there's a lot that can be gleaned from living in alignment with our true selves. I've been thinking a lot about how that's the main regret of dying people, is that they didn't live true to themselves. So if we think about that as like that inner petaled flower that's like very honestly themselves, and then there are these other pieces that come out from there. And I think there's a tendency to look at I'm going to turn this around so I can just talk to you. Hopefully the lighting here is okay. There's a tendency, I think, to look at other people's lives and to say they're lucky. And I think that is bypassing. There's certainly, like, we may have been born into certain families that gave us some skills or talents, like the fact that my parents are artists. My dad's a musician. They've been interested in, alternative modes of healing. Like all of those things have built me. Yes. And there's a lot that comes down to us deciding how we want to live, to be really the artists of our own lives. And I think that is what is so exciting. And I don't know that I could do what I'm doing now without Ayurveda, because Ayurveda gives me the rhythm, the pattern, the stability to then have the structure that creates the freedom. So you may have heard me say that before, that structure creates freedom. And that structure is created by the rhythms of waking up before the sunrise, eating my meals at particular times, going to bed before 10, eating my largest meal at lunch, moving my body early in the day. That there are these rhythms that I can count on, and then space and time open up. So one of the things that I've been hearing lately from people, that lots of people that I've been talking to, I'm like, whoa, this is a theme, is that we think we have to figure it out before we can move into alignment. And by that, I mean, I hear people saying, well, I have to figure out like how the Vitality Circle can fit into my life before I can sign up for it. Or I have to figure out how I'm going to, you know, do cook, cook more before I can like buy myself organic vegetables or whatever it is. It's like, from my perspective, living the life that I'm living right now, which I'm seeing more and more is a model for other people. I didn't realize that, but it is a model for other people, how you can live your life, is that actually needs to be flipped. So we need to actually say, not I need to know how, but I'm willing to put these rhythms in place so that the how can emerge. Right? So I didn't know how, when I quit being a professional potter, that I would keep making pottery. But because of the rhythm, because of my love for it, because of my engagement with a desire for creativity, for making handmade pieces for us to use and for people in my life to have, also for playing music, right? Or for cooking meals. All of these pieces in our modern life get thrown by the wayside, growing your own food, being connected to a piece of land. So I really encourage you to step out of thinking that you need to figure out the how, and to step into creating the vision for the life that you want to live. And then holding that vision and allowing the pieces to fall into place. Just entertain that, okay? So thanks for joining me for Behind the Scenes Tuesday Talk. I hope you enjoyed this. Please leave me comments, questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. We'll come back to the mandala and just end here and zooming in to the center, that all the busyness, all the chaos can come back to structure, organization, structure, creating freedom.